You have just tapped into the Christian Life Coach Collective, and I'm your host, Laura Malone. I'm here to equip and encourage coaches in skills, business, personal life, and faith. I believe you're already 100% worthy and capable, and you're called for such a time as this. So let's get you walking it out with courage and confidence so you can be an amazing coach who sees transformation and great results in both your life and the lives around you. Let's get started. It is a beautiful day in August. That is not normal. It should be hot and muggy and miserable, and everybody should be yelling and complaining about the humidity. But no, it's like a gorgeous fall day. And wherever you are when you're listening to this, I hope you find contentment, peace, and joy, regardless of your weather. I've been through so much in the past week. And even as I just sit here and record this, I'm like, holy moly, what has happened? It seems like 2025 is a year of fixing all the broke things. Fix what's broke. I recently went back home to see my father, who is not doing well. While I was there, I broke a tooth, a pretty important tooth. Then I came home and had to take care of that tooth after, 4 days of not eating or talking, trying to not pop out the broken tooth, which was hanging on by a thread while I had to travel home, and be in public. So fun, really cute. Nope, not posting any pictures. So I, in the middle of like hours of dental work and more hours to come, and grief and trauma and hardship and change. There's just so much going on everywhere for everybody. And I have friends who have the Rona flu and all the things going on again. And gosh, I just say we need Jesus. We need hope. We need the Prince of Peace. We need the King of Kings to come show us, what does he see? What does he know? What does he want us to see and know? And then what's he want us to do? It keeps me on my knees, but it also keeps me focused on growing and maturing, persevering, and just becoming the person he's called me to be in the space I'm in, with grace from where I'm at. I'm in process. I'm not perfect. Still got all the things, still think all the things, and have to work to do it, which is kind of the key to what I do, in coaching and what I call the pearl practice. I walk myself through it in times like this. I walk myself through it on the daily, just going through life. I'm like, okay, I can see now the thoughts that are like floating around my head that I either choose to believe and like start thinking and dwelling on, or I can take them captive and go, you know what? You're not true. I don't want you. I don't want to agree with you. You're just a thought. I don't have to think you. Have you ever thought that? Like, have you ever just stopped and said, wow, that is literally just a thought, and I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to take it. I don't have to meditate on that. I don't have to believe it. It's just a thought, and it's not going to be mine. You can do that. You've got to start thinking about what you think about. When I don't think about what I'm thinking about, it gets real messy up in there. This sometimes the like, I don't really live in the South, and I'm not from the South, but sometimes the South like just slips in. I don't know. Bless my heart. So I was working with a client a few weeks ago, and she's going through a lot of stuff, and also trying to start a business, because I work with a lot of coaches and people who want to be coaches, people who want to start their own business. And I'm just telling you, starting your own business, even I told the girl at the dentist today, I was like, you quit working for everybody else 40 hours a week so you can work for yourself 24/7, 365. Like if I go on a vacation, which doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, I still work on my vacation because I run a nonprofit and a business. And no, but like it, all the hats are sitting on top of my head. And between the two of them, it's really hard to get a lot of time where neither one of them needs any attention from me. I have to do some really significant work ahead of time to get some time off where nothing needs to be done on either part, other part of it. So as she and I are just, we're in our session and she's talking about all of the things that she's gone through in her life. And at the same time, all this transition is happening, all these changes in her family, all of these shifting things in her identity going on and the stage of life. And like, I don't know, I guess nobody's written the book that succinctly and sufficiently gives us really what we need at the, I don't know, this 45 to 60 stage of life. I guess maybe I'm just gonna have to write that. Um, and so we just start going through the pearl practice and like, let's get to the core of the thing that was keeping her from doing her business, like really going all in and taking the action was this concept. So her action, we just started with the old pearl, like right now where I'm at. You start anywhere. Paradigm, emotion, action, result, legacy. Like which one do you most like rises up and is the easiest to access, the one that you can see the most easily? Hers was action. She could tell that the action she was taking was inaction. She was just like buffering and procrastinating and doing everything but taking right action, the right next step. And we dug into, okay, what's next? Do you have the emotion that you are aware of that is causing you to buffer and not take action? Or can you see the results that you're getting through your inaction and your buffering? For her, she saw the reaction, I mean, the result, and she saw like, okay, I'm just spinning, I'm cycling, I'm not creating any business, I'm not creating an offer, I'm not creating confidence. Like it was a lot of not creating all of the things. There was a void, a lack of things in the results path. And then her action was stemming from the emotion of fear. And when we dug into like, what's the fear that's causing you to buffer and not take action? And it was just, I mean, I have to say, it's something I so relate with, especially in this season. Her fear was like around the inability to really show up if she did take action, to like really follow through, be committed, be consistent, do the thing with any amount of success without just falling flat on her face, you know? And the fear was rooted in a paradigm that was a thought she had accepted, allowed, and began to agree with. And the thought was similar to what I could totally grasp onto right now, think on, and run with if I was not careful about what I think. And it has to do, and maybe you feel this a little bit, maybe you get this every now and then, but it has to do with everything else in my life needs me more than I do. Like my family needs me, and my other responsibilities need me, and my friends need me, and all of these people need so much from me, and I have to fill that need So all of that is just like accumulating. And then it caused a fear that if she were to do anything for herself, like it wouldn't be good. Like she wouldn't have the time, the bandwidth, the energy, well, the investment to be able to sow into this business that her family didn't ask her to start, her neighbors didn't ask her to start, her church didn't ask her to start. Like it was for her. And it's sometimes our business and this thing becoming a coach and an entrepreneur, it's it's for us and God. Like it's about stewarding the gifting and the calling he gave us on our life. And it's about doing something that God has given us to do, but nobody else is asking us to do it. They want us to do the things they want us to do. They want to see us making money a different way, the more consistent way, the safe way that you've always made money, or they want to see us always be available to give them a ride and get the laundry done. You know what I mean? Like the people around us have seen us. We teach people how to treat us, and we teach them what to expect from us. So when you start your own business and you start coaching and doing all of the things that you feel light you up and you're called to, and you really feel the joy of the Lord over you while you're doing it, well, everybody else can start getting like weird about it. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. What are you doing? Oh, wait, that business doesn't have anything to do with me. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And so for her, it was just her old pearl was about like everybody and the world needs me so much. I can't not do those things, which led to this fear of like there's not enough of me. Like I won't be able to give me and God and clients and this business the attention it deserves because of everybody else and all of the need and pull on me. I am afraid I don't have capacity to do anything else. So I'm just not doing anything. I'm really just talking about it, but I'm not doing anything and buffering every time. It was like every time she would think, okay, today I'm going to write an Instagram post. And she'd be like, there's dishes in the sink. And then the results are like getting nowhere. They're negative, like they're not getting her tangibly. She's not seeing any results that she actually wants. And in the old pearl, what happens is those results they accumulate cumulatively, like over time, they become that legacy. So a year from now, she can be in the same place, except probably won't even be interested in coaching or business because she's talked herself out of it and taught herself that she can't trust herself to follow through or do anything. So then the new pearl, we just go backwards and we start with the legacy first. And we actually cast vision and ask the Lord, what do you say my legacy is around the same neutral facts of the old pearl, which were, just not getting the business is not growing. So that's not an opinion. There's proof. She wasn't making any money. She didn't get any clients. So the business was not growing. Anybody who looked at her business could say, yep, that is a fact. And without opinion, without judgment, not positive or neutral, negative, it's just neutral. So using the same thing, the business is not growing as the neutral facts in the new pearl. The new pearl, starting with the legacy, let's cast vision and hear God. So she developed a whole new legacy statement. Like that legacy path was filled with hope and joy and like, yes, I'm making an impact. I'm helping people get transformation. God is using me. I'm bringing glory to the Lord through my business and my calling. What kind of results do you consistently need to be getting on a more daily basis that are tangible to create that type of legacy? Well, it means that she needs to have clients. She needs to have clients booking. She needs to have client sessions. She needs to have a flow, right? She needs to be growing as a coach and actually doing some good coaching to get these clients the results that will lead to that kind of legacy. What kind of actions must be taken to create that kind of result? And here's where, it's different for everybody. Like, do you need to tell people I'm a life coach, I help people? Do you need to actually start building an audience by networking or start a podcast or a blog or a video channel or public speaking? What do you need to do? Do you need to stand up in front of your church? Do you need to put it on your homeschool, uh like the umbrella or the group or the co-op, their email they sent out once a month? What do you need to do to let people know? There are so many steps there. You have to focus on, like, right now, what is the next right step for you? What is that step? What emotion do you know? Like, if I felt safe, I would take that. If if I had the emotion of peace, if I experienced joy and inspiration in my body, I would take that action. And then once you know the action that would inspire you and make you say, ooh, I want to go do that. I want to go to a networking opportunity because I feel excited. What is the paradigm you need to operate from that will help you feel excited? Maybe that thought that spurs excitement is a friend is coming with me and I'm not alone. Maybe that thought is I I believe God called me to this and I'm good at it. Right? So now we can actually say, instead of the thought that I am needed everywhere else, there can't be enough me for me. And letting that run rampant and do damage. You have to take it captive. You have to confine it. Stop it from doing all the damage. Look at it and say, wow, I didn't even realize I was thinking that thought, but there it is. And then you have to go, okay, well, given that, I need to confine it and challenge it against the word of God. And that's looking at it and just saying, wow, what does the Bible say? What is God saying to me about this? And you can look at James 1, James is one of my favorite books because it's like, you know, the book of wisdom in the New Testament. But we just look at it and we know that if we lack wisdom, we can ask God. He gives generously without like finding fault in us or telling us we're disqualified because we didn't know it all already, all of the things, because God equips us, right? James 1 talks about how desire gives birth to sin and sin gives birth to death. And that's like this whole progression that starts inside the mind with what we believe and think and dwell on inside our paradigm. And all of that paradigm stuff, all the thoughts that we need to take captive and say, like, you have to obey Christ, right? It's not harmless background noise. It's not the box fan you turn on for white noise while you sleep. Like, it's actually the seedbed of our emotions, actions, results, and legacy. Romans 12:2 says to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that's why, like, this episode's called The Core Coaching Tool Every Client Needs, because the Pearl practice is built on one of the most important biblical principles for transformation, which is renewing your mind. Coaching and personal growth and self help and development. All of it is fantastic, but none of it has true transformation without the power of Jesus Christ. He is the transformer, right? So a lot of things in the world are built on biblical principles, but not in alignment with the Bible and God, like God's actual word. So when we step into this, we see that the pearl practice is like a simple and practical way to see the process in real time of how we go from our one thought that we let take root, we let the seed be planted. If we're not careful, like James 1 talks about, and we can see how that one seed can grow into something that's either a weed or not, right? So, again, just to clarify, P is for paradigm, the way you think and believe, your assumptions, your imaginations, the story you tell yourself. It's the lens you're looking through, your perspective. E is for emotion, and your paradigm creates an emotional response in your body. So thoughts actually fire the chemicals up, and the chemicals create the feelings in your body. And then A is for action. So from that emotion, you either do something or avoid doing something. Both of those are actions, right? Inaction is still in the action path, and you are doing something to either avoid the emotion that you're experiencing because you want less of it, or to pursue that emotion because you want more of it. R is for a result because every action has an outcome. So it might be progress, it might be stuckness, but there's always like fruit being produced. And then L is for legacy, and that's just the accumulation of all those results over time. And it's kind of like this story your life is telling in any one given direction. So Pearl practice is like a chain reaction of paradigm creates emotion, creates action, creates result, creates legacy. The thing is, you don't have to be a certain type of client or be working, have a certain client niche for this to work or to matter, because every one of us has a paradigm we're operating from that is shaping our lives, whether we know or not. So I want you to think through this. What is your paradigm about your calling, about what you are facing today? What's the emotion that you experience when you actually dial in on the thought that you're having, the paradigm you're operating from? Does it create hope, curiosity, confidence, excitement, or dread and uncertainty or overwhelm, right? And then what action are you going to take from that? If you feel confident, you're going to make a plan, you're going to try this one thing. And if you feel dread, you're going to get on your phone and scroll somewhere. The result of all of that is either going to be movement in progress or stuck, like not moving or even moving backwards. And one of those is going to produce a legacy of courage and growth and trust in God's equipping and calling. And the other one is going to create the legacy of apathy and denial and offense and bitterness and resentment and regret. So this is what James warns us about when he says desire, when it's conceived, gives birth to sin, and sin gives birth to death. So if we let God's word implant a seed in us, it brings life. The pearl practice isn't just psychological or mental, it's actually discipleship. It's a tool to help you notice, what thoughts do I let take root? Do they lead to life or to death? Do they bring freedom or do they bring bondage? Then it gives you a path to renew your mind, one choice at a time. Proverbs 25, verse 5 says that the counsel in a person's heart is deep water, but a person of understanding draws it out. And the pro practice helps you as a coach draw out the clarity and courage and calling that God already placed inside of somebody. So when you know how to use it, you're not just scrambling to come up with the right questions or wondering if you're actually really helping anybody. You have like a very simple, powerful, step by step process that makes sense in real life. And it gives you the ability to hold somebody's story as very important, as priceless, precious, and then guide them through the changes that they want to make, and then keep both of you moving towards the results that they want and the legacy they're building, which empowers you and grows you as a coach. That's why the Pearl practice is the foundation of the Christian Life Coach certification. When you have a tool that works every time with anybody, you can serve anybody God puts in your path. You can coach with confidence. You know you're creating real value, not just having some nice long conversation in the humidity. But it doesn't matter whether you're coaching somebody like in their health, their leadership, their relationships, their career, even their spiritual, their spiritual growth. The Pearl practice works because it all starts with the paradigm and ends with the legacy that God has for us to step into. And a great part of it is you can interrupt the chain anywhere. So you can stop and notice your emotions, choose a different action, reflect on your results, etc. But like all looking back at what paradigm do I want to operate from? What thoughts do I want to believe? What thought is like a fiery dart or arrow being pointed and shot at me for somebody who hates me? And am I agreeing with it? This is the transformation where renewing your mind happens. It's how you actually build a legacy to tell the story you really want your life to tell. So the next time you are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, dread, defeat, or you're walking with somebody who feels those things, I encourage you just to remember the Pearl practice and slow down and let's just get to the thought that we're thinking. Is this really the thought I want? Is this a story that I believe God's inviting me to live in? Each one of us was given the ability as a child, our brains were able to create a narrative that served us then to help explain the world around us from a child's perspective. And we developed our own narratives, like the way we saw the world, our perspective, cognitive thinking, all those things started kicking in. And because of who we are and how we're uniquely made by God, we all perceive the world differently. And that is great then. It helps our brain survive, and um, it helps our soul cope. The problem is that later in life, because it wasn't necessarily informed by truth in childhood, it now is still the thing we're operating from as adults, and it's not helpful, and it can be very harmful because if it does not get into alignment with the truth of what God says, the word of God, and the revelation of Jesus, then it's out of alignment. It's not plumb lined with the truth. So now we have to actually look at our paradigms and say, whoa, is that even real? Is it true? It feels true to us, but that's a little t truth. And part of the work of our lives as Christian believers is to get our soul into alignment with the Spirit of God. The pearl practice creates an opportunity if you have an awareness of being out of alignment and a desire to get into alignment with the word and the truth of what God speaks. It just is a very simple but powerful framework to be able to help you do that. And it's what I'm going through right now, walking myself through it, walking my clients through it. And I want to equip and empower you to do it. If you would like to get certified through Sterling and Stone, I would love to see you be able to do that. So check out the links in the show notes. Go to sterlingandstonementoring.com. Just check out the Christian Life Coach certification. Come hang out with me and let's change the world together. Let's go be disciple makers and help people to actually renew their minds so that they can step into everything God has for them, their true identity, their true purpose, their true belonging, and defeat the plans of the enemy, step up, rise up into the calling God has on their lives, and be a discipler. Actually be part of fulfilling the Great Commission of going and making disciples throughout all of the nations. You can do this anywhere, from your computer, around the world, or face to face, right across your dinner table, your coffee table. If you love to guide people, to be there for them, to listen well, get curious, ask great questions, and guide them into the truth, this is a really spectacular place to start. Maybe you're already doing it. Maybe you already have a business or a ministry and you want to add coaching to it. This is foundational to that. And after that, you can learn how to take the Pearl practice and use it in identity coaching, relationship coaching, health coaching, business coaching, like all of these areas. This is a foundation. This is the foundation of a house. And then after you have that foundation, you can build as many floors above and as many rooms as you want. You can paint all of the rooms. You can go buy all the furniture and then, put up pretty paintings and do all of the fun stuff. But you can't put a pillow on a couch or hang a picture on a wall if there is no room, because there's no first floor, because there's no foundation. Then you're basically just sitting in a field. You got yourself a painting, you got yourself a pretty pillow. Go home goods. But you're not seeing any fruit or results in your life or theirs, anybody else's, right? And I really love helping you to create an impact and an income so you can build the kingdom in your life and see God's calling on your life really come into fruition and lives be transformed, minds be renewed by transformation and alignment. And I believe in you. I am with you in it. And I believe all things are possible and everything is figure outable. So let's do it together. Thanks for listening. For more coaching resources and to learn how to work with me, head to sterlingandstonementoring.com or click the link in the show notes. Remember, walk boldly in your calling, and I'll talk to you next time.